The light is red, the kids are in bed, which means it is time for Mile High Musings with me, Aaron Yowell, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. What's good, sports fans? It's your boy Aaron Yowell, and welcome to episode 22 of Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tonight's episode title is Should Auld, Acquaintance Be Forgot? Happy New Year, sports fans. I am super pumped to be coming to you tonight. I wasn't going to do a show tonight, but New Year's Eve plans changed. And honestly, as a father of two little girls, I don't really make it to midnight anyway, so my wife... because I got to work a bunch. My wife took the girls to my in-laws, and I am here with you. Taryn's already in the chat, and I know exactly what you want to hear tonight, Taryn.
In this house, we praise the Lord and cheer for them Denver Broncos.
Even when they beat your Chargers. We're going to get there, but I hope you all had a fantastic 2 weeks and a Merry Christmas if that's your thing. Man, things got crazy this week, and I know that's how I opened my last show. But it was even more wild thanks to really one move. On tonight's episode, we're going to talk about the Nuggets finishing the calendar year with one of their worst home losses in a very long time. The Avalanche and how they keep playing with their food, including tonight, right now, as we speak. And the Broncos are now officially eliminated from playoff contention. And to be real, the fact that it is this late in the season, for me to be saying that is actually a Christmas miracle. Plus, there's been a lot of moving and shaking on the collegiate hardwood. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sports fans of all ages, it is time we ascend to the top of the peak and breathe in that rarefied mountain air as I bring you sports takes a mile above the rest. I'm super psyched to get to everything that there is tonight. Fireworks are going off in the neighborhood, and it made me jump because I wasn't expecting it, even though I should. But before we get to the Nuggets, Avs, Broncos, Buffs, Rams, Falcons, and all that is good, let's handle our business. For the last 9 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to keep up with the latest in sports and with our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website, iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and all of our show pages with personal bios and the podcast feed for each individual show, including this one, Mile High Musings. Check out the show page at iesportsradio.com/Mile High Musings. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long-sleeve shirts, hoodies, and so much more. For nearly a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans and for the fans, and we thank each and every one of you for all of your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports. What's good, sports fans? It's your boy Aaron Yowell from Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I am super excited to tell you about a new sponsor on the network, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm's Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket beef jerky offers gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. That's my favorite part. This is some of the best beef jerky you can get your hands on. Check them out online, planetjerky.com. Once again, a huge shout out to our sponsor, Planet Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that is on a whole other planet. let's tip off today's Mile High Musings on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, with some Nuggets talk. We got to start with the defending champs because it is the end of their calendar year. That's right. And there, I mean Royal, T-H-E-I-R, because they are them this year. Our last pod was on the 17th, and the Nuggets have gone 6-1 since our last show. And I want to run down the scores really quick, and then I'll talk about the starters, the bench, who contributed, and then just some hot takes from the last few games. My family and I traveled out of state to Pennsylvania for Christmas, and I got to watch games, but didn't get really, you're watching games and you're excited to share your sports with other people, but a lot of the games were watched on my phone, head down, as I was, there was Christmas movies on. My family gets it. They know. I did force them to watch both Nuggets and Avalanche games while we were in Philadelphia. Jen's in the chat. Taryn's in the chat. We good. I hope everybody's having a great New Year's Eve and that everybody is safe. Most importantly, as much fun as these things can be, no matter how old I have gotten or was, safety's always been the biggest thing on a night like tonight. So, Monday the 18th, the Nuggets got a 130-104 win over the Mavs, and shout out to my boy Drewski, and everybody at the network who likes to engage during games, especially, I don't engage with everybody. I need to, but Drewski and I like to chat a lot during games, whether it's on Instagram or on Twitter, and Drewski's always good about keeping it professional, and I feel like I am too, and we just talk sports, and we're just back and forth. We did it for TCU-CU. I think we've done it for Stars Avs. We've done it for Mavs Nuggets, but, Nuggets were pretty much blowing them out, and Drewski was still upbeat. He's having a good year because the Rangers won. The Stars are doing great. Cowboys locked into the playoffs. Mavs are a good team, but they're kind of on the bottom end of things right now as far as the playoff picture is concerned. But Drewski, shout out to you, my man, for being willing to chat during the game and not have it get ugly. But Nuggets win big Wednesday the 20th. Nuggets start a road swing, 3-game road trip. They win 113-104 up north against the Toronto Raptors. Then they go down to Charlotte on Friday the 22nd and win 122-1. They go to Brooklyn before they go to Charlotte. Brooklyn, 122-117. Then the next night they're in Charlotte, 102-95. So already 4 games into the week, 4-0. And then we go home for Christmas Day against the Warriors. And I have lots of hot takes for the Warriors games coming up as I wrap this segment up. But Nuggets, all they do is win on Christmas Day, 120-114. Steph had a bad night. Let's call it. He wasn't shooting well, and Denver's defense, right? And then this last Thursday, the Nuggets win 142-105 against the Grizzlies. And it was just a complete blowout. That ended up being a laugher. The starters didn't even play 30 minutes except for Peyton Watson, which we'll get there. And then Friday night, the Nuggets lose 119-93 in one of their worst home losses in a long time against the Thunder. The Thunder seems to have our numbers, but let's break these things down. So Monday against the Mavs, Jokic had a triple single. And I think that if Jokic could have his way, he would have this night every night. As long as the team's winning, I don't think he cares. And he's like another superstar that plays in Ball Arena. I don't think they care as long as the team's winning. But Jokic went for 8 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists against the Mavs. Jamal had 22, 4, and 2. AG had 21, 5, and 5. So the big three, Jokic was distributing, handling the boards. It was fine. KCP had 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. And Mike had 8, 4, and 1. But the bench had 4 guys in double figures against the Mavericks, including Reggie. Reggie Jackson had 20 in that game. So that's big. Wednesday night, on the road, Jokic goes for 31, 15, and 6. Whatever. Jamal goes 25 and 6, returning to Canada. Right? AG 12, 5, and 2. KCP 10, 2, and 3. And Mike 12, 6, and 2. P-Watt had 11 off the bench. You feel like things are starting to get rolling. Friday they go to Brooklyn. I feel like that game wasn't as close as a 5-point win. On this podcast, I've accused both the Avalanche and the Nuggets of playing with their food too much, and I think that was a play with your food kind of win. So was the Charlotte game. But it was roadies and back-to-backs. And so, Yoke went 31, 11, and 7 against Brooklyn. And Murray had 32, 5, and 9. AG had 18-5-2. KCP, the Brooklyn game and the Charlotte game, didn't score a lot. KCP's defense was relied upon. Mike had 15. And then P. Watt had 9 off the bench. But the starters really got it done. The big five got it done against Brooklyn, against Charlotte. Yoke, 18-10-8. Again, his kind of night. Murray, 20-12-5. AG, 14 points. KCP only had 3. Mike had 22. Michael Porter Jr. had 22 against the Charlotte Hornets. And that's what we like to see from Mike. If my microphone sounds like I'm walking away from it, it's because I'm checking over my shoulder at the Avalanche game, who are tied 1-1 in the third, and they're going on the power play. Let's go. We'll get to them in a minute. Christian had 11 off the bench against the Hornets, and Julian Strouder had 10 off the bench. So let's go. Christmas Day, Jokic, 26 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists. Jokic was a perfect 18 of 18 from the free throw line. And I'm going to get to Steve Kerr's comments in a minute, but Jokic was awesome. Murray had 28 on Christmas Day. AG had 16. KCP had 16. Mike had 19. The big boys came to play. And then, like I said a minute ago, the starters didn't really play many minutes against the Grizzlies, but Jokic had a 26, 14, and 10 triple-double where he was 11 for 11 from the field. When you break it down, other than the Thunder game, the boys took care of business and the bench contributed. Now, here's the thing. During the Grizzlies game and the Thunder game, Peyton Watson started in place of AG. In the Grizzlies game, P. Watt had 20 off the bench. Well, not off the bench, as the starter. And then Christian had 11 and Julian had 12. And the Thunder game, P. Watt had 14. So he stepped in well. AG had a bite on his hand and on his face from a dog. But he's back, and we're going to get there. So, going to the Christmas Day game. In the Christmas Day game, like I said, Jokic was 18 of 18 from the free throw line. And Coach Steve Kerr complained about the way the game is officiated. Now, he said the product as a whole. He also said he would have never wanted to watch the second half of that game. Now, it's a justified claim here, but not in a Jokic played game. Because that man never gets a good whistle. Or, actually, he hardly ever gets a whistle. Like, hardly ever. And he doesn't flop, and he doesn't grift, or anything like that. He goes to the bucket hard, and he tries to draw the foul. Because he's 7 feet tall. He's gonna get bumped, and he's gonna get hit. And he thinks he should go to the free throw line a little bit more, and I tend to agree with him. But if Steve Kerr is going to go ahead and make that claim, which he has every right to, and I agree, the way the game is officiated is total and complete garbage for the most part. He needs to make it in a broad, sweeping fashion. Not just, Jokic shot 18 free throws. Yeah, dude should probably shoot 10 free throws a night, and they're warranted, not Joel Embiid flopping and stat pad. Yeah, I said it. So after that game in pure Jokic form, he follows it up with a perfect from the field triple-double. And it's another one of those not since Wilt games. Jokic and Wilt Chamberlain are the only players in NBA history to register 3 perfect from the field triple-doubles. What more do you want? Yeah, he has a game where he's 8, 9, and 7 because he didn't need to, and the Nuggets blew out the Mavs. But he shows you that he can do it. And I was watching that game, man, knowing that he was perfect from the floor. Some of those shots he was taking, I was like, oh. So, fine. I mentioned AG was hurt against the Grizzlies and the Thunder. P. Watt stepped up nicely. He averaged 16 as a starter, and it was a really nice way for him to show that maybe his offense isn't the thing that we need to be concerned about. That he is offensively capable. He just needs reps. So, the loss to the Thunder both concerns me and perplexes me. Starters got plenty of rest the night before because they were blowing the Grizzlies out. And I'm honestly having a hard time putting my finger on what whether or not this game was a case of overlooking the competition, or it's a back-to-back, or the Thunder very much getting up for the game, or perhaps it's time to take the Thunder super serious. The Nuggets are 6-2 in their last 8, and both losses have been to the Thunder. One on a last-second shot that should have never mattered because Denver played with their food. And the last one was a blowout. So with the loss, the Nuggets sit third in the West and third in their division, which is just absolutely wild to me. They still have played the most games in the NBA, so hopefully, something's going to even out. But at this exact point last season, the Nuggets were 23-12, and currently they're 23-11. That Nuggets team last year had the number 1 seed and won it all, lest we forget. And yet this year is feeling like a disappointment. I said that 2 weeks ago on the show, and maybe it's because there were 2 other teams ahead of us in the standings. Nuggets fans could very well be spoiled coming off a 16-4 playoff run. So much like I say to the Broncos fans, let's slow down, doomsdayers. The Nuggets are sitting just fine, and they're back in action at home tomorrow night against the Hornets, 7 p.m. Mountain tip-off for that one. And AG will be back. He's confirmed back at practice, and they said his return on Monday is most likely. So we're going to take a break, and on the other side, we'll stay inside the friendly confines of Ball Arena. We're going to talk Avalanche hockey. You're listening to Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS. The SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Oh, yeah, give it up for Taryn, who's in the chat, who is always in the chat. I appreciate Taryn, and Larry B's in the chat. Jen's in the chat. We're all here. Y'all, the SoCal Supreme Sports Show on Fridays. Check it out here on the network. Don't forget to give us a follow over on X. That's at Mile High Musings _IESR. Check out all the shows. Again, Taryn, Jen, Larry B, thanks for being in the chat. I'm honored to have you listening on a holiday on New Year's Eve. I hope everybody's being safe. I cannot stress that enough. But hey, before we get on to the Avs, who are playing right now and who are playing with their food, did you know that the CSU Lady Rams are 9-3, and the CSU men's basketball team is 12-1 and currently 15th in the country? So shout out to those FOCO basketball teams. Big ups to them. But let's talk Avalanche hockey. The Avs are 3-1-1 since our last show. They played, those 5 games are playing right now. On the 19th, they lost in Chicago. Shout out Adam. Chi-Town Sports. Wednesdays on the network. They lost 3-2 in Chicago. Valenchushkin scored twice, and McKinnon assisted on the first, which kept his point streak alive. But at the end of the day, sorry, I think my microphone went buck wild there for a minute, which is insane. I haven't touched it in 3 hours, and I've been watching it. I think the Avs and the Nuggets, to an extent, are getting caught playing down. Avs, I think, more right now than the Nuggets. They're playing down to their competition. It's driving me nuts. So, on the 21st, Avs played the Ottawa Senators, and Avs were up 2-0. Then Ottawa scored 4 in a row. And then Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen said enough is enough. McKinnon scored 4 goals in the game against the Senators and assisted on Rantanen's second. So your goals came from Mac and Mikko in that one, keeping McKinnon's point streak alive. Y'all, he has had an incredible, Nathan McKinnon has had an incredible 2023. We're going to talk about it here in a second. But I just watched Connor Bedard's Michigan against St. Louis. Give me a break. I wish I could do that. But they took care of it business against a team that's not super great this year in Ottawa. On the 23rd, Avs win 4-1 against the Arizona Coyotes at home. McKinnon kept his point streak alive with an assist. But they were up 4-1, let a garbage time goal in. Or 4-0, let a garbage time goal in. You wanted the shutout for Georgiev on that one, but just didn't happen. And then right after Christmas, and this blows my mind. I hate this for the NHL, and it needs to be changed. So teams are not allowed to travel the 24th, 25th, or 26th if they have a road game. So the Avalanche played in Phoenix on the 27th, and they left the morning of the 27th. I think that's really unfair that, teams aren't allowed to travel at least a day ahead. And there were some issues last year with teams doing it where they traveled and lied about it, but I really think that that's bogus. And the Avs were up 4-0. McKinnon had a goal and an assist in the game, pushing his point streak to 19. But they were up 4-0 and then let 4 regulation goals in the overtime winner come across. And, how much of that is contributing to getting on a plane and flying? Like, we flew to Philadelphia, which is not... It's way farther than somebody flying from Denver to Phoenix. And yeah, I had 2 little girls with me, but it beat me. Getting on a plane beats you physically. You get up in the air, the cabin's pressurized, like all that stuff. And then you're asking these guys to go play at a professional level. It's ridiculous. The Avs have lost 2 of 3 against Arizona this year. They were our kryptonite last year. So, very frustrating. 2 nights ago, Avs won 2-1 against the Blues. McKinnon's point streak does come to an end. They're in St. Louis for this one. Does come to an end at 19. But I think the hockey robot himself, Nathan McKinnon, would tell you that team points matter more than his individual streak. Now, that being said, Avs are playing right now. It's 1-1, third period. We've got 10 minutes and 58 seconds left. The Avs are out shooting the San Jose Sharks 31-9. McKinnon has an assist in the game, which takes his home point streak. There's a lot of words, so this is really hard. Avs scored on a power play. Mikko Rantanen from McKinnon and Nichushkin. McKinnon's overall games point streak came to an end, but his home game point streak to open the season continues at 20. And now he's the next person on the list of opening a season with points at home streak is Wayne Gretzky. It's kind of a big deal. So Avs are currently second in the Central behind Winnipeg. Dallas is playing tonight too, and Dallas and Winnipeg have games in hand because the Avalanche are tied for the most games played in the NHL, much like their roommates have played the most games in the NBA. But finally, teams are starting to catch up with them. Last year, the Avs ended the 2022 portion of their schedule at 19-13-3, 41 points. They were in the middle, actually, of a 6 or 7 game losing streak at this point last year. This year, the Avs are sitting at 22-11-3, 47 points. I feel like both teams that play inside Ball Arena are in the same boat. The fans aren't happy, and yet both teams are better off this year than they were last year at this point. Yes, each team could be further up the standings, but they play 82-game seasons, and they need to stay the course. Go back and listen to my Christmas episode where I passed out gifts 2 weeks ago and how the Avs needed to look in the mirror. They should not, like San Jose should not even be in this game. Capo Kakinen is standing on his head to have stopped all of these shots and to keep San Jose in this game. So it's ridiculous. I'm going to keep you updated throughout the episode. If you're listening live, if you're listening later, you can cheat and see the final score. But Avs are working it in their own zone, or in the offensive zone right now. And it's good to see Sam Girard back. who was in the NHL Players Association Assistance Program. He was cleared to skate last week, and today is his first game back, and it was really cool. It gave me chills. The first time he was on the ice and touched the puck, standing ovation from Ball Arena. So it's good to see that Sammy G's back, that he's got his stuff right, and he's actually playing really well. He looks great on his feet. His stick looks great. He's contributing, which is what you want. And it's actually more than I could have expected for Sammy G at this point. So the Avs have played with their food twice, let's call it 3 times this week or over the last 2 weeks. But let's talk about the 2 that have actually gone final. You play with your food against Chicago and Arizona, which I almost want to say Phoenix, and it's killing me. Taryn, you wouldn't believe how many times I had to stop myself from saying San Diego today when I was talking to my mom about this game. I know it's the LA Chargers. I know these are the Arizona Coyotes. But for some reason, I want to say Phoenix. I don't know. I'm getting old. But against Chicago and against the Coyotes, you drop 3 points. That would have put you at 50 if you don't play with your food and in sole possession of first place in the Western Conference, headed into the new calendar year. I don't know. Nathan MacKinnon is currently sitting at 57 points, including tonight's assist. That's second in scoring behind Nikita Kucherov for the Tampa Bay Lightning. MacKinnon has 38 assists, best in the league, and 19 goals. That's 9th in the league. Mikko Rantanen's going to close 2023 with 45 points at least, as the game stands right now. 19 goals, 26 assists. Val Nichushkin, 34 points, 16 goals, 18 assists. And Cale Makar has 41 points. Yes, he has been hurt. 8 goals, 33 assists. But I'm telling you right now, the way that MacKinnon has played lately, yeah, he had a four-goal game, 5-point night. His at-home point streak's ridiculous. He's just coming off a 19-game point streak. But Nathan MacKinnon is making an amazing case for the Hart Trophy. He is the most valuable player in the league. He has 134 points for the calendar year of 2023. 134 points. As it stands, he could get more because the Avs are still playing. And he has the most points in franchise history in a month. He's currently sitting 3 points behind Kucherov for NHL points lead. It could all go down tonight. Who knows? I'm hoping. So Connor, who? The Avs host the New York Islanders Tuesday. It's a 6 mountain puck drop for that one. Coach is calling a timeout. We're going to take a break. On the other side, let's finally talk about them Broncos. You're listening to Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter, at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter. At any time, be happy to reply. Always willing to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Give Cale a shout, a follow, a listen, and of course, the Broncos play the Raiders to finish things at the end of the year, so you know that Cale's got some hot sports takes coming at you. Raiders coming off a loss today But the Broncos aren't. But before we get into the Broncos, hey, those CU Buffaloes, they're 10-2 in men's basketball, and the Lady Buffs are 10-1 and currently ranked 8th in the nation. Go Buffs, huh? Y'all, let's talk Broncos because we need to.
Go Broncos!
That's right, Penny Quinn. Win, lose, or tie in this house.
In this house, we praise the Lord and cheer for them Denver Broncos.
It is so crazy how we were 6-2 in our last 8, and then all of a sudden you look up and we've lost 3 out of our last 4. And the Detroit game was one thing, and we talked about the Detroit game on last episode, but man, that loss to the Patriots. Shout out Mikey Two Guns being inducted into the IE Sports Radio Hall of Fame. Losing 26-23 to the Patriots on a last-second field goal. I mean, Patriots are a bad team. After that loss, things got absolutely just... Oh, man, McKinnon almost scored the winner. Just got buck wild in Denver. And I truly believe, we're going to spend some time on this, but I truly believe the end of the Russell Wilson era started at least in the Detroit game, when he failed to get the Broncos across the goal line early after a turnover that gave the Broncos the ball inside the 6. And everybody will be like, oh, well, Sean Payton's got to call better plays. Yeah, but Russ has the autonomy to audible, to check, all of that stuff. And there were so many moments in that game where Russell Wilson just didn't lead. He didn't lead men. And I talked about that. Happened again in the Patriots game. The Patriots loss really did bust the Broncos, Taryn. Huge difference from being playoff bound and in disarray. I think we're less in disarray than we were at 1-5. And I never thought we'd be playoff bound. But things have got to change. And things really, really, really are going to change. So you're right. Huge difference from being playoff bound and disarray, Taryn. Mile High is strong, Larry B. Thank you for being in the chat. I appreciate the encouragement. I missed being on the air at night because I feel like you get the real me. Now, I did click that explicit button, and it is New Year's Eve. So here is the point where I warn you if it's, say, my grandmother listening to it, sorry, Jeej, or, my brother-in-law and my nephew listening to Uncle. Uncle's about to rant about the Broncos. And you heard it over Christmas when we were in Pennsylvania, but now you're going to hear it more. I think if the Broncos would have handled their business against the Patriots, maybe today's starting lineup looked a little different. I don't know. Now, depending on who you ask, this all escalated quickly or not. There have been lots of conflicting reports out of Dove Valley this week. Russell Wilson was benched in favor of Jarrett Stidham. If you don't know, now you know, and you have been living under a rock for, 48 hours. Because even the people who aren't Broncos fans heard about this. A lot of people are saying that the franchise did Russ dirty, and I'm going to tell you, if you've listened to my show once, twice, 1,000 times, you know that I supported Russ all year, and I went to bat for him. However, like I've said 8,000,006 times on this show, I'm not going to mollycoddle any quarterback, and I'm going to tell it like it is. Quarterback is my favorite position in the game. My absolute favorite. It's the most important position in the game. So says the money. But Sean Payton, Sean Payton will tell you that it was a move to spark something in the offense. Which is true, because our offense was pretty stagnant. When our biggest win is, well, I don't even want to talk about it. Others will tell you it was a long time coming. And they'll tell you it was a financial move, because if Russ got hurt and could not pass physical at the beginning of the new league year in March, he would receive a guaranteed $35 million. So everybody's saying, the Broncos did Russ dirty. Let's talk about what Russ did to the Broncos in this contract. Taryn, you're not wrong. You're right. I hate saying you're not wrong. I got to get better about that. Taryn, you're right. We traded all those players and picks just to release a guy. That sucks. But, nah, I'm getting there. You're right. And I am about to go off. I am about to pop off. Russ hamstrung the front office of the Broncos with that contract. Yes, we offered it to him, but there are many reports saying after we beat the Chiefs, which we hadn't done in 15 games, as long as I've been married, we haven't beat the Chiefs. The Broncos front office approached Russ to restructure, and he said no. So basically what Russ said is, no, I'm going to either win with the guys that we have, or I'm just going to get my money. Now, obviously, I'm not in the room where it happens. I want to be in the room where it happens. Shout out to Hamilton. But you're basically telling the front office, no, you're going to win with me or die with me. Because if you're not allowing the front office to restructure your contract, then you're not giving them the flexibility to give you more toys as a quarterback. Avalanche just scored. Looked like Val Nichushkin. I missed it because I was popping off, and I'm still going to pop off by the Broncos. But the Avs are up 2-1 with 3:29 remaining. Oh, bang, bang. What a beautiful thing. Go check that. Go check that out. Taryn, give them the Dum Dum of the Week on your show. You're right. Somebody wearing the orange and blue was dumb. And we could all point fingers. Oh, excuse me. We could all point fingers and be like, oh, well, it was this person. Oh, it was this person. Oh, it was this person. Everybody was dumb. Everybody. Everybody was dumb. I don't know. Russ is no spring chicken, no, gang. In the world of quarterbacks, he's younger than I am, but he's no spring chicken. And with as much as he was going off script this year and scrambling and having to make things work, the probability of him getting hurt against two solid pass rushers in Khalil Mack and Max Crosby, over the last 2 weeks of the season was pretty damn high. So frankly, I don't care why. Well, McKinnon picked up another assist. Ayo. I don't care why you bench Russell Wilson. I'm just glad that somebody had the balls to do something about the inconsistent play, lack of taking care of the football, and the apparent poor leadership of the team. I never felt like he had control of the huddle. I never felt like he had control of the line of scrimmage. And the whole blow up between Russ and Coach in the Lions game was not the beginning of this. I'm telling you right now. It was the end. It was the end of it. And one thing can be said about Coach Payton. Not only does he like having his guys, but he also likes things going his way. And I say that to say, look at the game today. Yes, it did look like a preseason game, Taryn. You're right. However, Russ is listed at 5'11". My ass. If that dude's 5'11", I'm 6'12". He can't see over the line, which the smallest dude on our line is 6'4". So the wide receiver routes that are so vital to Sean Payton's offense are being missed. That's why Jerry Jeudy's not getting targets. That's why he's getting all emotional and butthurt. If you go back and you look at prime cooking Russ in Seattle, he was off script. A lot. He was off script a lot. And he played for a defensive head coach in Pete Carroll, who probably couldn't have given two shits if some points were being put, as long as some points were being put on the board. Yeah. And that's not the case in Denver. It's not. I tweeted or X'd or whatever the hell it is, I don't even know anymore, that Russell Wilson was not the main problem of this Broncos team, this iteration. But he's being paid to be the solution, and he simply hasn't been. So bench his ass and put Stidham in. I called for it at the end of the Patriots game. I said if they don't bench Russ and play Stidham, stuff's going to go bad. Yes, we got dead money. It's bad, Taryn. You're right. Dead money. It looks bad on the franchise. But that wasn't Sean Payton's move. That was a move with Nathaniel Hackett. You want to look at the last 2 years? That's been rough. And I will tell you, and I said this, I believe, on my last show, but for weeks, I'd much rather have the coach than the quote quarterback. Russell Wilson ain't the quarterback. He is not. He is not. And if Drake May, by the grace of God, falls to us at 15 or 16 or whatever, 14, whatever pick we get, if Drake May falls to the Denver Broncos or J.J. McCarthy even, they better pick their asses. They better pick them. Because that's what I want to see. But let's talk about the game. We haven't even talked about the game because there was a game that was played today, a preseason game, by the looks of it, by the score, by the lineups. Now, this game did not turn out like I wanted it to. No. I really, really hoped that. Yeah, he is not. He is not, Jen, you're right. I really hope Jared Stidham would come out and just ball out. Just blow out the Chargers. Not the case. Not. But a win's a win. 16-9. Win's a win. I don't care. Stidham was 20 of 32 for 224 and a tutty. And that was mostly the doing of little Jordan Humphrey, whose yak was ridiculous on that. But Stidham only took 2 sacks. And one of them was Ben Powers just getting his ass handed to him by Khalil Mack. Mack straight up put Ben Powers into Stidham and just bumped him over. He looked like the old American Gladiators when they were doing the joust. It looked like dude just went boop. But, the team was able to run for 101 yards, which is a nice change, which is what I've been calling for. And it's the crux of Sean Payton's offense. And Stidham completed passes to 8 different receivers. And as much as I wanted him to ball out, I was more interested in how he handled the huddle, how he handled the line of scrimmage, and how he handled the pass rush to the Chargers. And I actually was happy with all of those things. He threw a fair few balls behind receivers, Jerry Jeudy mainly. And there were a few plays that both he and receivers looked like they weren't on the same play. But all things considered, I was fairly happy. I mean, we could have got killed. The Broncos didn't turn the ball over. Defense played great. They only gave up 3 field goals. And they held the Chargers to 2 of 11 on 3rd down and 1 of 2 on 4th. And they had 1 takeaway, and I called the takeaway coming. I know, they did. Lil Jordan. Little. There's an apostrophe in there. And the apostrophe is what gives him his strength. It is what makes him not just a Jordan Humphrey, but a little superhuman Jordan Humphrey. Broncos did their part, It might have been ugly, but, rewind. We made the playoffs and won a playoff game with Tim Tebow. I think we were 8-8 that year. So we've done ugly and into the playoffs before. It is what it is. But Broncos did their part, but they got no help from the Seahawks. Why would they help us? Why would they help? Well, they should. They owe us. We had no help from the Bengals, so the dream is over, and our playoff hopes are all dead. The Broncos still, though, have a chance to finish with 9 wins, which Sean Payton said was important because it's above 500. It's a 4-win improvement over last year, and that would make my prediction way back before the season started on the 3-and-out division preview correct. And I love being right. So the Broncos play Larry B. and Kale's Raiders in Vegas next week. NFL schedule, well, when I was writing my script, and I've been watching the Avalanche game, updating my notes on that, was TBD. Wouldn't be surprised if we're just a 325 game. I bet dollars to donuts. Bills Dolphins is flexed to the night game because that one is for the AFC East title, which is pretty cool. But let's take one more time out, and on the flip side, let's make some New Year's resolutions, shall we? You're listening to Mile High Musings on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson. It's your boy Dentarius Live.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That give you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Welcome back to Mile High Musings on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Again, thanks to Jen, Larry, Taryn being in the chat. Whew. Taryn, the Broncos absolutely should have blown out that Chargers team that fielded most of their second stringers. I hope the 9-8 stays true, if nothing else. So that would be a nice prediction. Jen, you're right. This NFL season has been weird. I mean, I remember when the Cleveland Browns were the laughingstock of the NFL, and now look at them. They're super good. They're like scary good. And Joe Flacco, ridiculous. I watched the Cowboys game last night because I live in Dallas, and that was wild. That whole thing was wild. And 49ers look like world beaters at some point, and then they look human. Kansas City looks human. Baltimore looks unbeatable right now. Lamar Jackson is playing at an MVP level. The Avalanche did score an empty netter and have gone final 3-1 against the Sharks. So they still played with their damn food, but at least they got a win to close out the year, which makes them, oh my God, 8 points better than they were last year. So again, Avs and Nuggets fans, slow the hell down. I hope Raiders Broncos is going to be a fun game. Neither team really has anything to play for. You know, people's got jobs to play for. Antonio Pierce coached for a job. I don't know. I liked what I saw from the Broncos today, even though they didn't put up a bunch of points, all things considered. The Broncos could have went out there and quit. They could have quit on Sean Payton, and I'm glad they didn't, because I think that's the coach. And I think once he gets his guy, you know, I think they're going to be scary. 10 to 12 wins. I mean, that's a good pick, Jen. That's a good pick. And yeah, with the injuries and stuff, but you know what? Your team's built on defense. Cleveland's built on defense. I mean, I'm going to stay home. Look at the last Broncos team who won a Super Bowl. That wasn't because of Peyton Manning. Not that year. We're built on defense. That defense was stupid. They were so good. So you should be happy with this season. 11-5 right now. Looks great. You know, I hope they make some noise in the playoffs. You know, it's been a crazy year. I think 2023 has been an awesome year. It's, you know, I want to do a little reflection because we're into crunch time. Before we do that, though, my alma mater, UNC Bears, are sitting at 6-6 right now, college basketball, and the Air Force Falcons are 7-5, which not that much worse than their football team at this point. But you know, I'm super thankful for the opportunity to do the show, and you know, things changed a lot for me in 2023. I stopped being a teacher. It was my thing for 15 years, and made a career move to be home with my family more, and it's not been easy, but it has given me free time, and I didn't think I was going to get the free time just to keep doing this show. I thought it was going to be a summer thing, that it was going to be over, but it's not, and I'm able to have hobbies again and really get back into watching sports a lot instead of just checking the Twitter, checking ESPN, you know, but actually sit down and watch games has been great. And I have a wonderful wife who encourages me to have my own thing and for me to watch sports because she knows it makes me happy, and she encourages me to do the show. And so I'm super thankful for her and my girls and everybody on the network who's, you know, in chat and encouraging. And, you know, we're building a cool thing here. And I say we, I've only been on, you know, on the air for a couple months, but we're going into 10 years on IE Sports Radio, and it's awesome, man. So if you're listening the first time, we appreciate you. Come check us out. If you're an everydayer, stay with us. Check out the rest of the shows on the network. 2024 is going to be awesome. But that being said, let's get into some New Year's resolutions. Larry B's Raiders' New Year's resolution is to hire Antonio Pierce. I ask you, did today against the Colts break the momentum? Because interim coaches that are former players, they can rally a locker room real quick. But what happens when that first loss hits? Is that the kryptonite? Is that the kryptonite for a team like that? I mean, you know. I didn't even mention this. Shout out to Jarrett Stidham for getting his first NFL win. He lost the 2 games he played for the Raiders last year. He got his first NFL win today. Kid out of Texas. Played in Stevensville. But let's get to some New Year's resolutions. So I just did the big 4 because I didn't want to keep you from your New Year's plans. It is almost 10 p.m. Central, 9 Mountain. I very rarely make it to midnight anymore. Last year, my wife was crazy pregnant. I think we went to a friend's house, and then I put everybody to bed and went to bed probably at 10 or 11 o'clock. But New Year's resolutions in no particular order for our big 4. Again, thanks for being here tonight. I'm super, super happy about it. I would love for the Avs to... I think the Avs should make the resolution to have better goaltending. Their goalies need to be, especially Georgiev, needs to be more consistent. Now, granted, some of that could be the defense in front of them, but they're healthy, and I think the goaltending needs to be more consistent. And the resolution for the Nuggets, more consistent bench play, consistency from the Ballerina boys. You've got nights where you've got 4 guys in double figures, Reggie Jackson dropping 20, and then you've got nights where your high is 9. The bench unit has an identity. They know who they are. They just need to be consistent about it. The Rockies... It's the same as their Christmas gift, man. For them, I make the resolution of managing the club better. And that's top down. That's not, in the dugout. That is in the offices and down. I want the Rockies to be good so bad. So bad. So very bad. But like Drewski said, I pay taxes. So if the Rockies are stinking, I can always watch the Rangers too. So it's fine. And then lastly, for our beloved Denver Broncos.
In this house, we praise the Lord and cheer for them Denver Broncos.
They need to make the resolution to run the football better in 2024. I think that's where it needs to start. And I've said that for weeks and weeks and weeks. And the weeks they do it, they win. And the weeks they don't, the weeks that Russ goes off script or whatever, they lose. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes 2023. That concludes Mile High Musings, episode 22 here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I appreciate all of you who have been in the chat tonight and who are consistently in the chat. I hope you have a safe and happy New Year. It's your boy Aaron Yell signing off and giving you a big, fat, mile-high salute and reminding you to stay good, sports fans.